Ever wonder where your memories live? Or how your brain knows the difference between yesterday, today, and tomorrow? Deep inside your brain, there's a tiny, seahorse-shaped structure called the hippocampus. It might be small, but it's a powerhouse, responsible for some of the most fundamental parts of being human: our memories, our ability to learn, and even our emotional balance. Think of it as your brain's own personal timekeeper, sorting out what happened in the past, what's happening right now, and what could happen next. But this delicate structure is incredibly sensitive. When trauma occurs, the hippocampus is often one of the first areas to feel the impact. It can shrink, its functions can go haywire, and it can lose its amazing ability to tell time. This is why someone who has experienced trauma might feel like they're reliving a painful memory over and over, as if it's happening in the present moment. Their brain's timekeeper is struggling. In this video, we are going to take a deep dive into the hippocampus. We'll explore how trauma affects it, how this changes our memories and our perception of reality, and most importantly, how we can begin to heal and restore that sense of balance, clarity, and peace. Let's start by thinking of the hippocampus as the brain's master librarian. Its job is to collect all of your experiences, organize them neatly, and put them on the right shelves in your mind. When you need to remember something, the hippocampus is what goes and retrieves that memory for you. It's thanks to the hippocampus that you can recall facts for an exam, remember your best friend's birthday, or tell a story about your last vacation. It's not just about storing information, it's about giving that information context. The hippocampus is what tells you that a memory is from the past, that it happened then, not now. This simple distinction is crucial for a healthy sense of self and reality. But the hippocampus doesn't work alone. It's part of a team, working closely with other brain regions like the amygdala, which is the emotional center, and the prefrontal cortex, which handles decision-making. Together, they help regulate your emotional responses. For example, when you remember a happy moment, like graduating or a fun family trip, that warm, fuzzy feeling is a result of the hippocampus retrieving the memory and the amygdala adding the emotional color. The hippocampus recorded the event, labeled it as a positive experience, and stored it away for you to enjoy later. This beautiful teamwork is happening all the time, shaping how you feel and react to the world based on your past experiences. The hippocampus is also a brilliant teacher. It helps your brain learn from everything you go through, both good and bad. Let's say you touch a hot stove. The amygdala instantly fires up, recording the intense feeling of pain and fear. At the same time, the hippocampus is busy recording all the details: where you were, what the stove looked like, the smell of the kitchen. Later, when you see a similar stove, the hippocampus pulls up that file. It reminds your brain of what happened last time, so you know to be more careful. This is a survival mechanism at its finest, turning a painful experience into valuable knowledge that keeps you safe. Without the hippocampus, we'd make the same mistakes over and over again. And it's not just about learning to avoid danger. The hippocampus is essential for all kinds of learning. Every time you learn a new skill, a new language, or even just a new route to work, your hippocampus is hard at work, forging new neural connections and strengthening old ones. It's what allows you to build on your knowledge day after day. This process is called neuroplasticity, the brain's incredible ability to change and adapt. The hippocampus is a key player in this, constantly updating your internal map of the world based on new information. Another one of its superpowers is spatial memory. This is your brain's internal GPS system. It's how you can navigate your city, remember where you parked your car, or find your way back to your favorite spot in a park. Studies have shown that people who rely heavily on spatial navigation, like taxi drivers in a big city like London, often have larger hippocampi. All that mental mapping and route planning is like a workout for this part of the brain, causing it to grow and become more efficient. So, the next time you effortlessly find your way around, you can thank your hippocampus for its amazing directional skills. It's constantly building and updating a detailed map of your physical world. Now, let's talk about what happens when this finely tuned system is disrupted by trauma. Trauma isn't just a bad memory. It's an event that overwhelms the brain's ability to cope. During a traumatic experience, the body is flooded with stress hormones like cortisol. While a little bit of stress can be good for you, it helps you focus and perform under pressure. Chronic or extreme stress is toxic to the brain, and the hippocampus is particularly vulnerable. High levels of cortisol can damage and even kill neurons in the hippocampus, causing it to shrink in size. This is a physical change that can be seen on brain scans. When the hippocampus shrinks or becomes dysfunctional, its ability to do its job is severely compromised. Remember how we said it acts as a timekeeper? A damaged hippocampus struggles to place memories in their proper context. So, a traumatic memory isn't filed away neatly on the past events shelf. Instead, it gets stuck in a kind of limbo, feeling like it's happening right now. This is the biological basis for flashbacks. The sights, sounds, and emotions of the trauma feel intensely real and present because the brain's librarian CA and label the memory as over. The person isn't just remembering the event, they are re-experiencing it because their brain has lost its sense of time. This dysfunction also messes with the partnership between the hippocampus and the amygdala. Normally, the hippocampus helps calm the amygdala down after a threat has passed. It essentially says, okay, the danger is gone, you can relax now. But when the hippocampus is impaired, it can't send that all-clear signal effectively. The amygdala stays on high alert, constantly scanning for danger. This leads to a state of hypervigilance, anxiety, and being easily startled. The world feels like a much more dangerous place because the brain's alarm system is stuck in the on position, and the part of the brain that should be turning it off isn't working properly. The impact on memory goes beyond just flashbacks. A damaged hippocampus can make it difficult to form new memories. This can lead to gaps in memory, not just for the traumatic event itself, but for the periods before and after it. It can also interfere with everyday learning and memory, making it hard to concentrate, remember conversations, or learn new information. It's like the brain's librarian is so overwhelmed with the disorganized, chaotic traumatic memory that it doesn't have the capacity to file away new, everyday experiences properly. Life can start to feel fragmented and confusing. But here is the most important part of this story: the brain can heal. The same neuroplasticity that allows the hippocampus to learn and grow also allows it to recover. Healing from trauma is possible, and it often involves therapies specifically designed to help the hippocampus get back on track. For instance, therapies like eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR, and trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy help the brain process the traumatic memory. They guide the brain to finally take that stuck memory, label it correctly as past, and file it away in long-term storage where it belongs. When this happens, the memory doesn't disappear. You don't forget what happened, but it loses its emotional charge. It no longer triggers an immediate, overwhelming sense of danger. It becomes a story, a part of your past, rather than a terrifying present reality. This process helps the hippocampus and amygdala re-establish their healthy working relationship. The amygdala learns that it doesn't need to be on high alert all the time, and the hippocampus regains its ability to distinguish between past and present. Beyond therapy, there are many things we can do to support hippocampal health. Mindfulness and meditation have been shown to reduce stress and can even increase the size of the hippocampus. Regular exercise is another powerful tool. It boosts a protein called BDNF, which is like a fertilizer for brain cells, promoting the growth of new neurons in the hippocampus. Getting enough quality sleep is also absolutely critical, as this is when the brain consolidates memories and does its housekeeping. And of course, maintaining strong, supportive social connections provides a buffer against stress and creates a sense of safety, which is essential for healing. If you or someone you know is struggling with the effects of trauma, please know that help is available and recovery is possible. It's not a sign of weakness to be affected by overwhelming experiences. It's a sign that your brain and body have been through something significant. Reaching out to a mental health professional is a courageous step towards healing. Organizations like the National Alliance on Mental Illness and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration offer resources and helplines that can connect you with the support you need. Your brain is incredibly resilient. By understanding how it works, we can give it what it needs to heal, to find balance, and to reclaim a sense of peace and control over our own stories. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content about the amazing human brain. Stay curious and take care. In our last chapter, we met the hippocampus, the brain's master librarian and timekeeper. We learn how it organizes our memories and gives our lives a coherent timeline. But what happens when that precise system is thrown into chaos by a traumatic event? In this chapter, we'll explore exactly how trauma injures the hippocampus, leading to a state of confusion where the past feels dangerously present. So, let's start with the basics. Imagine you are in a dangerous situation. Your heart pounds, your senses go into overdrive, and you're ready to either fight for your life or run faster than you ever have before. This is your survival response in action. Your brain floods your system with a powerful cocktail of stress hormones, mainly cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals are incredible. They give you the energy and focus you need to survive a threat. They're designed for short, intense bursts of action. But what happens when the threat isn't a single, short event? What happens when the stress is prolonged, chronic, or overwhelming? This is where trauma begins to leave its mark. When those high levels of stress hormones don't just visit but decide to move in, they start affecting other parts of your brain. And one of the most sensitive areas is the hippocampus. Think of your hippocampus as your brain's librarian. It's responsible for sorting your experiences, filing them away as memories, and stamping them with a time and place. It helps you distinguish between what happened yesterday and what's happening right now. It gives your life story a coherent timeline. When the hippocampus is constantly bathed in stress hormones, it struggles to do its job. It's like a librarian trying to organize books during an earthquake. The shelves are shaking, books are flying everywhere, and nothing is getting filed correctly. Research has shown that prolonged exposure to this kind of stress can actually cause the hippocampus to shrink. Studies on individuals with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, often reveal a smaller hippocampal volume compared to those who haven't experienced trauma. Now, hearing the word shrink might sound scary, like there's permanent damage. But it's crucial to reframe this. This isn't damage in the sense of something being broken. It's adaptation. Your brain, in its incredible wisdom, is adapting to survive in a high-threat environment. It's prioritizing immediate survival over long-term memory organization. It's saying, I don't have time to file this memory neatly. I need to stay on high alert for the next danger. This adaptation, while brilliant for survival, comes with some very real-world consequences for our daily lives. Let's talk about what this actually looks like. One of the biggest effects is the creation of fragmented memories. Because the hippocampus couldn't properly file the traumatic experience, it gets stored in bits and pieces. Instead of a smooth, narrative story, this happened, then that happened, and then it was over, the memory exists as disjointed sensory fragments. A specific sound, a particular smell, a flash of an image, a physical sensation in your body. These pieces aren't connected by a clear timeline or context. They're just raw, unprocessed data. This fragmentation is what leads to one of the most misunderstood symptoms of trauma, flashbacks. A flashback isn't just remembering something bad. Because the hippocampus failed to put a past label on the memory, your brain genuinely struggles to recognize that the danger is over. So, when a trigger in your present-day environment, like a loud noise or a specific scent, matches one of those unprocessed memory fragments, your brain doesn't just recall the memory. It re-experiences it. Your alarm system goes off as if the trauma is happening all over again, right here, right now. Your body reacts, your emotions surge, and you are pulled back into that moment of terror. It's not a failure of willpower, it's a failure of the brain's filing system. Another common effect is memory gaps. While some parts of the trauma are seared into your mind with hyper-vivid detail, other parts might be completely blank. You might not be able to remember the sequence of events, or what was said, or even who was there. This isn't you being forgetful. It's your brain's protective mechanism, suppressing details that are too overwhelming for the system to handle. Beyond just the traumatic memory itself, a stressed hippocampus affects your ability to function day to day. Have you ever felt like you have brain fog after a period of high stress? Difficulty concentrating? Trouble learning new things? That's your hippocampus struggling. Its job is to form new memories, but when it's overloaded with stress hormones, its capacity is significantly reduced. It becomes hard to retain new information, whether you're in a classroom or just trying to remember your grocery list. Now, let's bring in the hippocampus's partner in crime, the amygdala. The amygdala is your brain's smoke detector. Its job is to sense danger and sound the alarm. In a healthy brain, the amygdala and hippocampus work together in a beautiful balance. The amygdala shouts, "Danger," and the hippocampus calmly checks its files and says, "Relax, that's just a car backfiring. We've heard that before. It's not a threat." It provides context. But in a traumatized brain, this partnership breaks down. The amygdala becomes overactive, like a smoke detector that goes off every time you make toast. It's constantly screaming, "Danger, danger." It floods your system with fear signals. Meanwhile, the hippocampus is overwhelmed and under-resourced. It can't provide the context to calm the amygdala down. It can't say, "Hey, we are safe now. That was in the past." The result is emotional chaos. You have an overactive alarm system and a disabled context provider. This is why trauma survivors can feel a constant, simmering sense of anxiety or dread, even in perfectly safe environments. Their brains are stuck in survival mode, perpetually scanning for threats because the part of the brain that is supposed to say we are safe is offline. The memories feel alive, unpredictable, and completely uncontrollable because the two key players that manage them are out of sync. So, where is the hope in all of this? The hope is in a concept called neuroplasticity. This is the brain's incredible ability to change, reorganize, and form new neural connections throughout our entire lives. The changes caused by trauma are not a life sentence. The hippocampus can heal. Its volume can increase. The partnership between the amygdala and hippocampus can be restored. How? Through experiences that signal safety. Healing from trauma is about teaching your brain, on a deep, physiological level, that the danger is over. This is what trauma-informed therapies do. Practices like mindfulness help you stay grounded in the present moment, teaching your brain the difference between a past memory and present reality. Somatic therapies help release the trapped survival energy from your body. Therapies like EMDR help the brain process and file away those fragmented memories correctly. It's about creating new neural pathways of safety, calm, and connection that can compete with the old pathways of fear and survival. It takes time, it takes patience, and it often takes professional guidance, but it is absolutely possible. Your brain adapted to survive, and with the right support, it can adapt again, this time to thrive. Understanding the neuroscience of trauma isn't just an academic exercise. It's an act of compassion. It allows us to see that the symptoms of trauma are not character flaws but logical, biological responses to overwhelming events. It helps us replace judgment with curiosity and self-criticism with self-compassion. Your brain did exactly what it was supposed to do to keep you alive. And now, the journey is about gently guiding it back to a state of safety. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the brain. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content on mental health and healing. Share it with anyone who you think might benefit from understanding their own mind a little better. Remember, understanding is the first step toward healing. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Last time, we dived into the science of how trauma can impact a crucial part of our brain, the hippocampus. We learned how it can shatter memories and leave our internal alarm system stuck in an on position. But that was the what. Today, we are going to explore the so what. What does it actually feel like to live with a hippocampus that's struggling? How does this scientific concept play out in our everyday lives, in our relationships, and in our quietest moments? And most importantly, how do we begin to heal? This isn't just a story about injury. It's a story about incredible resilience and the brain's amazing capacity to repair itself. So, let's bridge that gap between the textbook and our lived experience. When the hippocampus is under duress from trauma, life can feel like you're navigating a maze without a map. It's disorienting. Imagine your brain's filing system for time and place has been scrambled. A person might find themselves feeling intense fear in a perfectly safe coffee shop, simply because the smell of coffee was present during a past traumatic event. This is one of the key signs: confusion between what is safe and what is unsafe. The brain's context checker is offline. Another common experience is emotional flooding. A seemingly harmless comment, a scene in a movie, or a specific song can suddenly trigger an overwhelming wave of anxiety, anger, or sadness. It feels like it comes out of nowhere, but it's the hippocampus failing to provide the context that says, "Hey, this is just a memory, not a current threat." It's like a dam breaking, and the emotions of the past come rushing into the present. Then there's the memory issue. It's not just about struggling to remember the traumatic event clearly. It can also be incredibly difficult to recall positive or even neutral memories. It's as if the trauma has cast a shadow over everything else, making it hard to access feelings of joy, peace, or simple contentment. This leads to a profound and painful sense of being stuck in the past, replaying the worst moments on a loop while the good times feel distant and unreal. I want to be crystal clear about this. This struggle, this disconnect between what you know is real and what you feel is real, is not a sign of weakness. It's not a character flaw. It is the brain, in its own complex and sometimes misguided way, trying to protect you from future harm. It's a survival mechanism that has gone into overdrive. Let's look at a classic example of this in action. A combat veteran is at a 4th of July celebration. The fireworks start, and suddenly, their heart is pounding, they're sweating, and they're scanning the crowd for threats. Their conscious mind knows it's just fireworks, a celebration. But their amygdala, the brain smoke detector, has screamed danger. And the hippocampus, which should have stepped in to say, "Wait, remember? We are at a park, it's a holiday, these are fireworks, not gunfire," is too compromised to do its job effectively. The context is lost. The alarm bells keep ringing, and the body stays in a state of high alert. This phenomenon is called contextual fear conditioning. The brain learns to associate certain cues, a sound, a smell, a location, even a time of day, with the traumatic experience. After that, those cues, even when they appear in a completely safe and different environment, can trigger the full-blown fear response. The hippocampus fails to differentiate between the dangerous context of the past and the safe context of the present. So, the body reacts as if the danger is happening right here, right now. It's an exhausting way to live, constantly on guard, with your nervous system preparing for a threat that never arrives. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off every time you make toast. The initial function is to keep you safe, but when it's overly sensitive, it becomes a source of constant stress and disruption. Now, after hearing all of that, it might feel a bit bleak. It might sound like the brain is permanently damaged, stuck in this loop forever. But here is where the story takes a powerful and hopeful turn. Our brains are not static, unchangeable lumps of tissue. They are dynamic, adaptable, and have an incredible capacity for healing. This brings us to a beautiful concept called neurogenesis. Neurogenesis is, quite simply, the birth of new neurons. For a long time, scientists believed that we were born with all the brain cells we would ever have. But we now know that's not true. Especially in the hippocampus, the brain can and does create new neurons throughout our lives. What does this mean for trauma recovery? It means that the hippocampus can literally rebuild. It can forge new pathways and restore healthy connections. With the right conditions and the right support, we can help our brains heal the very structures that trauma has injured. The damage is not necessarily a life sentence. It's a challenge, yes, but one that the brain is equipped to meet. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's backed by a growing body of neuroscience. We can actively participate in our own healing, providing our brains with the tools and environment needed to generate these new cells and create a healthier, more integrated future. So, how do we create these right conditions? That's where therapy comes in. Healing from trauma isn't a passive process. It's an active one that involves engaging with therapeutic approaches designed specifically to help the brain rewire itself. Let's talk about some of the most effective methods. First, there's trauma-focused therapy, like trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy or TFCBT. The goal here is to gently and safely help the individual integrate those fragmented, painful memories into a coherent story. Instead of having these disconnected shards of memory that trigger chaos, therapy helps you put them into a narrative with a beginning, a middle, and most importantly, an end. It teaches the brain that the event is over. You survived. It happened asterisk then asterisk, and you are safe asterisk now star. This process helps the hippocampus file the memory away correctly, in the past folder, instead of leaving it out on the desktop of the present moment. Next, you may have heard of EMDR, which stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. This is a fascinating therapy that uses bilateral stimulation, like moving your eyes back and forth, to help the brain reprocess traumatic memories. Think of it like this: when you're in REM sleep, your eyes move back and forth as your brain processes the day's events. EMDR seems to tap into a similar mechanism while you're awake and in a safe therapeutic setting. It allows the brain to access the traumatic memory without being completely overwhelmed, helping to reduce the emotional charge associated with it. The memory doesn't disappear, but it loses its power to hijack your nervous system. Then we have mindfulness-based therapies. If the core problem is the hippocampus confusing the past with the present, what's the antidote? Strengthening your connection to the present. Mindfulness practices, like meditation and breathing exercises, are like a gym for your attention. They train your brain to anchor itself in the now, focusing on your breath, the feeling of your feet on the floor, the sounds in the room. This practice directly strengthens the hippocampus's ability to provide that crucial context, helping it to more clearly distinguish between a memory and current reality. It helps you build the skill of noticing, that is a feeling of fear from the past, but right now, in this moment, I am safe. Finally, let's not forget the body. Trauma isn't just stored in our minds, it's stored in our bodies as tension, chronic pain, and defensive postures. This is where somatic therapies come in. Somatic experiencing, for example, focuses on body awareness. It helps a person gently tune into their physical sensations and allows the body to complete the defensive responses like fight or flight that were frozen during the trauma. By working with the body through gentle movement and awareness, we can help release that stored traumatic energy, signaling to the nervous system that the threat has truly passed and it's okay to stand down. Each of these therapies offers a different doorway into the same process, helping the brain heal, reconnect, and move from a state of survival to a state of living. It is about giving your hippocampus the support it needs to do its job again, to be a reliable narrator of your life, to hold memories without being held captive by them, and to know, deep down, the difference between then and now. The path to healing is real, and it starts with understanding that your brain is ready to do the work. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If this resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more content on mental health and healing. Take care. Welcome back to our journey of healing. In our last discussion, we uncovered the incredible and hopeful truth that the brain can indeed heal itself. We explored how powerful therapeutic approaches can kickstart the process of rebuilding the hippocampus, the part of our brain responsible for memory and emotional regulation. Today, we are diving deeper. We are going to explore the practical, everyday lifestyle choices that can powerfully support this healing journey. We'll look at what the path forward looks like as your brain rediscovers a sense of safety and balance. Let's start with something you can do right now. Breathe. Simple activities like deep, mindful breathing, gentle yoga, and meditation are more than just relaxation techniques. They actively lower the levels of cortisol, the stress hormone that can damage the hippocampus. By reducing cortisol, you're recreating a protective environment where your hippocampus can not only survive but thrive and even grow. Think of it as giving your brain the calm space it needs to begin its repair work. It's about signaling to your nervous system that you are safe in this present moment. Next, let's get moving. Regular aerobic activity is one of the most effective ways to boost brain health. We're not talking about running marathons, unless you enjoy that. A brisk walk in nature, a leisurely swim, or a bike ride can do wonders. Exercise promotes what's called neurogenesis, the birth of new brain cells, especially in the hippocampus. This directly enhances your brain's ability to form new memories and improves overall cognitive function. It's like a workout for your brain, strengthening its core and making it more resilient. Plus, the rhythmic nature of these activities can be incredibly grounding and meditative in itself. Now, let's talk about the unsung hero of brain health, sleep. When we sleep, our brains are anything but dormant. This is when the real magic happens. Sleep is crucial for memory consolidation. It's the time when the hippocampus diligently sorts through the day's experiences, filing them away in the right places. For a brain healing from trauma, this process is vital. Quality sleep allows the hippocampus to process difficult experiences effectively, reducing their emotional charge and helping to integrate them into your life story in a healthier way. Prioritizing a consistent sleep schedule and creating a restful environment is a non-negotiable act of self-care for your brain. What we feed our bodies, we feed our brains. A brain-healthy diet plays a significant role in repairing and supporting the hippocampus. Think of foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like those found in fish, walnuts, and flax seeds. These are the literal building blocks of brain cells. Antioxidants, abundant in colorful fruits and vegetables like berries, spinach, and bell peppers, help fight off inflammation and cellular stress. By focusing on whole, unprocessed foods, you provide your brain with the high-quality fuel it needs to rebuild and function optimally. It's not about restriction, it's about nourishing your brain from the inside out. Healing also happens through connection and expression. This is where activities like art, music, and journaling come in. These creative outlets provide a non-verbal way to process emotions and experiences that might be too difficult to put into words. They help the hippocampus rebuild its ability to attach appropriate emotional context to memories. At the same time, nurturing safe and supportive relationships is fundamental. Positive social connections help regulate our nervous system and reinforce feelings of trust and safety, which is essential for a hippocampus that has learned to be on high alert. These connections remind our brain that it's safe to let its guard down. So what does all of this effort lead to? What does it feel like when the hippocampus starts to heal? Essentially, you're helping your brain re-establish a healthy sense of time and safety. As the hippocampus recovers, you'll notice that memories become more organized. They start to feel like they have a clear beginning and end. Those intrusive flashbacks and overwhelming emotional responses begin to lessen. The trauma starts to feel like something that happened in the past, a part of your story, but not something that defines your entire present moment. It loses its power to hijack your reality. This integration is where true emotional balance comes from. As the past settles into its proper place, you'll find more clarity, more mental space, and a renewed sense of resilience. Your brain learns, on a deep, physiological level, that safety is possible again. You start to feel more present in your own life, able to engage with the world without the constant fear of being triggered. This isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about your brain learning that the danger is over. You are safe now. It's so important to remember that healing is not a straight line. It's not a linear progression from unwell to well. There will be good days where your brain feels calm, clear, and peaceful. And there will be other days when old memories or feelings resurface unexpectedly. This is normal. It's part of the process. Don't be discouraged by the setbacks. Each time you notice these feelings and bring yourself back to the present moment, you are actively strengthening your hippocampus. Each moment of awareness, each deep breath, each conscious choice to care for yourself is a victory. It reinforces your brain's ability to separate the past from the present. Think of the hippocampus as the storyteller of your brain. When trauma hits, it disrupts that storyteller's voice. The narrative becomes fragmented, chaotic, and confusing. Life can feel like a jumble of disconnected, painful moments. But with time, patience, and consistent care, that story can be rewritten. The narrative can be healed. Through these practices, breathing, moving, sleeping, nourishing, connecting, and creating, you are giving your storyteller the tools it needs to find its voice again. You're helping it piece the story back together in a way that makes sense, a way that allows for a future filled with peace and potential. The human brain's capacity for healing is truly one of the most remarkable and hopeful aspects of our existence. Your brain can heal. Your mind can find peace. And the past can finally take its rightful place, behind you, not within you. You are capable of rewriting your story, one healing moment at a time. Thank you so much for joining me on this part of the journey. If this conversation was helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content on healing and mental well-being. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.